Hey everyone, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. We're back with another episode, and in today's episode, we're going to talk about some holiday stuff, some news, some stuff that's going on in the collecting world, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We're going to kind of just chat it up, but can't wait to talk about some cool stuff.
Collecting is the way. Now let's chat.
Hey everyone, welcome to Collector Chatter. Welcome back. This is episode 119. I am Miggs here with Charlie. Today is just going to be us two. Just going to talk about some, just going to shoot the shit, you know? Talk about a little bit of news. I know we've been gone for a little bit. A lot of stuff. Life is happening, it's the holidays, a lot of crazy stuff.
Craziness.
But yeah, if you guys, happy holidays, regardless of what you guys celebrate.
Yes.
It's that time of year. We are very excited and happy. We are nearing the end of 2024, which is kind of crazy. But it was a crazy year in general. But we're going to talk about kind of like the last week. Actually, probably the last 2 weeks. Because there was some stuff that we haven't talked about in a little while. Just
some things near and dear to our
yeah, the stuff that we love to talk about, right? We like to call this like the news and stuff. But I think a lot of it's kind of like holiday based and some interesting things that happened or are going to be happening. So we want to kind of just give our little input on it and just kind of see what you guys think. But we could start it off with, I want to start off with this because this is something that was a pretty big deal to me because this was a company that kind of helped bring me really into the Funko world and community, soda specifically. But of course the news came, and again, this was probably like another week or two ago. Gemini Collectibles, if you guys don't know about them, awesome page. I don't think they had a storefront. I think it was strictly just online, and they were somewhat near to us. They're, I think, in PA or something, which is kind of close to us. So they were based out of there, and they sold tons of collectibles. Obviously Funko was what they dominated with, and Pops, and they even had their own exclusives and a lot of like crazy stuff that we get con things all the time. But I always went there for their sodas because they always had sodas. They literally would get them right away. Their price was great. And they even had sales. Sometimes you can get them super discounted. And in my big like heyday run of Pop Mix channel and opening sodas, because that was definitely my thing for a while, a lot of them came from Gemini, and it's kind of crazy. They were around for 20 years as a company, which is pretty interesting.
Crazy.
That's like a long time ago. And yeah, they're out of business, or they're going out of business. I believe they probably officially are, or they were liquidating a lot of their stuff. But the reason why I bring it up is, one, because it was obviously a company that we knew about, and we obviously used to purchase from there.
Dorbs.
And dude, even Dorbs. Yeah, dude, it's insane. They had so much. They had vinyl,
amazing.
They're plush
amazing
stuff. They had crazy amount of things you can get on there, and good prices too, which was the best part. But what's interesting is like this kind of like, I think, is a bigger thing than, we've seen other companies, kind of smaller ones, dwindling away. We saw the company itself, Funko, for what I think is not doing the best when it comes to like just bringing stuff to the discount stores and stuff. But like, I think this is a bigger thing that like, I think the hype and the excitement for Funko overall is just really low right now. And it's, even with us, it's kind of hit that point. Like we're long-term collectors, so we kind of hit that wall of like too much stuff, no space, save some money. That happens to everyone. But I just feel like all of this stuff is happening at the same time, and it just seems too much of a coincidence. But seeing like a big company like this kind of just, no longer be able to, who knows what the reason is, obviously, but I don't know what your thoughts are with, on that aspect of things, or just Gemini in general.
Yeah, I mean, I think the reason a lot of these smaller businesses are going out is just because, the hype isn't there as much anymore. A lot of those companies, not Gemini, but they thrived off of like mystery boxes, and I feel like people just don't want to partake in those anymore. It is interesting because Gemini, I'm assuming they decided it was a good time to close because their sales are probably declining, even though they have come out and said they were retiring. And I don't personally know, and no shade against them, because I have all the same feelings that Miguel has. Like, I loved them. They were my go-to for sodas. They never gouged you on price at all compared to a lot of the other small businesses. They had a variety of everything. but it's just like there was like, this is just time for us to ride off into the sunset. We're not making
Yeah.
any more money at this point. And it is one thing interesting, like they did thrive on their soda business, I think, when sodas were really, really popular.
Hmm.
And obviously Funko's not making those anymore. So that's just like
Yeah.
another thing that's just was sad, because yes, did they sell pops? Totally. They had con exclusives. They had, like you
Hmm.
mentioned, their own exclusives, but it isn't like on their website. And correct me if I'm wrong. It's not like they were getting every common that was coming out and they were posting them on their website. Like they weren't really in
No.
that business.
Yeah, they do have a
So
handful of stuff, but yeah,
exactly. So it's
they
just
weren't like oh my God, who like Entertainment Earth. Like they
exactly.
weren't like that. Yeah.
So it makes sense, but hopefully they did it on their terms for the most part. But they will definitely be missed. I mean, we've talked about them so much on this podcast. Like I
Yeah.
just joked with the Dorbs, like they had like that's where Meg's got all of his Dorbs from. Like they still have some up there if you want to get some before. I don't think they're officially closed yet.
Yeah, I think they're like just trying to get rid of
Yeah.
everything. So a lot of
So if you
stuff's on
want some
sale.
Dorbs, head over to Gemini Collectibles and
Doors or
sodas
if
too.
sodas, yeah.
I
Still
even like
into
I don't need to buy them, and I probably won't. But I've debated looking at that soda like page just like one last time,
just to see, yeah.
because I
I
mean
used
it
to check
probably
that
will be
every
the
2 days.
last hurrah. Yeah,
Yeah, I was on that thing literally. I was like,
I
a
agree.
couple
I
days later, I was
loved
like,
it.
boop, this one came up. Look,
They
and obviously
packaged.
they
No,
would
you
get them
go.
pretty quick, but a lot of times they would put up stuff that was out, previously. So,
Totally. And I always remember them as the people who gave you a million packing peanuts.
dude, my daughter loved those
Yeah,
boxes.
they're just freaking everywhere. But yeah, they will definitely be missed.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely it's a tough one because personally, like we said, we really did give them a lot of our business and never had any complaints. Shipping was always
Never.
great, always on time. Never had anything like, missing or anything. It was always like
They
great like
fulfilled their
service. Yeah.
orders.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Everything was great. Prices were always amazing. That was a crazy thing. They never went crazy with their prices. They didn't just like raise them just cause,
the only thing I think they've ever upcharged was like the con pops.
Yeah, or con sodas, like those
Yeah,
sodas that would
yes,
have
yes,
more.
sorry. Con
But
exclusives.
they were no, yeah, that was kind of normal. So
Yeah.
you understood that. But yeah, but like you were saying, it is tough to see some of these smaller businesses because this was like a family run
Yeah.
business, and not like a pretty big business to us, but in the landscape of things, they were a small business. So it's tough when we see a lot of things that probably factored into that. Like you said, maybe they just kind of were on their way out. Maybe they saw this as a perfect time because it's just things weren't going
Yeah.
as great. I don't think it's like a thing where they were like in a crazy hole and debt and they're like, gotta just like bankruptcy type thing. I
Exactly.
think they were just kind of like, all right, it's time to go out. We've done this for enough time and, we're not getting as much as we want from this probably. But it does open up your eyes to like the Funko thing in general and like what's the future going to be. And like, I know, probably next week we'll talk about, kind of like how the year went and what's going to be happening next year, that kind of thing. And we'll give our thoughts into that. So don't want to get too much into that right now, but just in general, like this is kind of a tough pill for like, the collecting
Yeah.
world when you're thinking of like, where is Funko specifically? Like where are they going and what's going to be happening. But yeah, I did want to bring that one up just because, like I said, there was definitely a company we spoke about a lot and we definitely give them a lot of business. But like you said, if they're still up and they're running, go check them out. They definitely still, if they are, they will have a ton of sodas and stuff on there for cheap. So if you are a soda collector or if you want some doors, because like that one
Dorbs.
time I purchased that box of doors from them and didn't open it for about 2 years. If you guys didn't see that, go back and check out one of the episodes when I did rip them open.
Oh man.
And that was a pretty
Classic.
sweet box and unboxing. But what else we got? I know there was a lot of like holiday related news that we wanted to kind of get into.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of holidays, let's talk about holiday figures in general. It's just interesting because I've always been hyped about holiday figures. I mean, I think Funko's overdone it. But then we're going to talk about like smaller companies like Mischief Toys. They came out with a holiday Gasoline Demonstro, which I personally loved. I got those for my collection. I remember last year when they didn't have something like this, I was super bummed. And so was like the entire community. Like they kind of were like, why don't we have these? And it was obvious that Chris and Heather didn't have, the production wasn't going to match up for them to have it this year. They
Hmm.
came out with pins, which were super cool, and people were going nuts over them, just not the figures. So fast forward a year later, and it's wild to me because if you guys are fans of Mischief Toys, or if you haven't heard us talk about them before, you should go check out their website. These are still available,
Yeah,
which I know we've talked about. We're kind of like shocked by this. Most of the time, their figures sell out in seconds, and I'm pretty sure they were like 200 piece count,
yeah,
which
around there.
I don't know. Like, what's your thought on that?
It's. I mean, I was telling you about it today. I was like actually shocked and surprised because I just happened to jump on. I think someone on one of the Facebook groups posted like, "Oh, there's still this many" or whatever it was, and I was like, "Wow, they still have them." And I went on, and they had both still the Demonstro, which is like a Santa variant, and then obviously the Ghastly they made like an elf. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know. Let's put it this way. So I know like we've loved Mischief Toy for a really long time. We've obviously been
Yeah.
supporting them. We usually try to get every single drop. I've slowed down a little bit. I mean, maybe people are doing what I'm doing. I've slowed
Yeah.
down a little bit on the collecting side of things, and not because I don't want to support them or I don't love them. It's just I've had to kind of pump my brakes a little bit on some stuff. So maybe some people are doing that, but I do know they have a really, really, really hardcore fan base that
Yeah.
is super, super like about them, and it's like awesome, and they're great people, so they're hilarious. But it's interesting because they do have certain drops that I don't know if you want to say they sometimes are somewhat controversial
Yep.
or
Which I
too
understand
one
why they
way or
haven't
the
sold
other
out.
way and whatever. And yeah, they don't sell out, and you're kind of like, all right, whatever. This maybe fits into that. I don't know. I don't think so. I
I
think they
feel
look
like
cool.
yeah.
Like they are interesting. Maybe people just don't like Christmas. I was like, whatever, because they're not they're Christmas, not really holiday.
No, yeah.
So you kind of like think
Some
of
people may think
that
they look weird on their
or
shelf all year round. Like it has
yeah,
to.
I think that a lot of times, sometimes with holidays, specific stuff, like we talked about it before, like even like the Christmas, like DC and Marvel stuff that would always come out, or for Funko and stuff, and Star Wars. I was always a little like, do I want to? Or the
Yep.
Valentine's Day ones, like those things are like so specific to a holiday that, like, yeah, it's cool to bring it out during the holiday, but then you just put it away for a year, like so. Not everyone is big on getting super super like specific holiday related stuff. That could be it. I think it could be a mix of things. That could be that. It could be the time of year people are
Yep.
saving up to buy other things and gifts and stuff too. So like who knows, but it was something that kind of shocked me. I thought it would have definitely like for sure sold quickly. I think the last few drops have been a little bit like that, so it's just kind of like, you know it's interesting to see like what's going on, like if people just kind of slowing down in general with collecting. And these aren't like cheaper, they're more on the like high end mid range,
Yep.
let's say, of a designer toy, which is great because they're worth it. But maybe some people just aren't like fully on board with that. And I haven't been super tapped into like the Facebook groups and stuff. Like I'm in them, but like not
Yeah.
like I used to always look to know kind of like what's the community like really saying. But I mean, if you guys are fans, let us know what your thoughts are if you were able to grab these, because I think they're super cool and they were interesting. They're very unique, but it is surprising. I totally agree that they didn't sell out. And yeah, I mean, not everything holiday has, because there's other stuff that we're going to talk about probably sure that is also not necessarily
Yeah.
sold out. But yeah, Mischief Toys, they've been a big, big part of our collecting world and our journey. So we want to show the support regardless whenever we can. But I'll try to show the other side of things. We talk about the new up and coming company that we talk about all the time, and that's Thrilljoy, right?
Yep.
Thrilljoy had some holiday interesting things. So there's a few things I want to talk about with Thrilljoy. We haven't talked in so long, so it's like crazy.
No, yeah.
But the big one was obviously the drop. We talked about it, kind of like that it was going to be coming out. We thought it was interesting that some of the holiday stuff that they teased didn't come out, like the Christmas
Christmas
vacation
vacation.
and
Yeah.
stuff. So it looks like they strictly stuck with only those like two lines, and that was it, and not even any of the mega picks like we were saying. So I'm guessing they're just going to scrap those, or they'll be for next year. Who knows?
Yeah.
But they obviously did their whole Black Friday thing that we spoke about, and there's the specials and the free shipping and all that kind of stuff. It does look like they have been like up like honest with their word and saying that they were gonna if you got it by the 6th, I think it was the 6th, right? You were going to get it before Christmas. And it seems like everyone is getting it
Yep,
before Christmas. You got yours, I know, before Christmas.
I did.
So they really kind of like stepped up when it came to like that shipping fiasco that they had in the past and making sure that it didn't happen again. And they probably also didn't want to have to give all those credits out. So they were
No,
going to make sure
agreed.
that they got them out there. But yeah, they were able to ship the stuff out. People are getting them. People are pulling chases left and right, which is crazy. But they're not like sold out. So like I still don't think there is a single product besides those like random clothing stuff that came out that is sold out, right? Not even the blue, I don't think still, right?
No.
So it is interesting. So this is definitely, I feel like if we're back 20 episodes or 15 episodes, at one point when Thrilljoy was being talked about, I think I probably said this, and I
You did.
said that this company was not going to be one that everyone was going to go crazy and was going to sell out. I think it was going to be exciting, it was going to be cool, but it was going to be something that only certain people were going to get, or only a certain amount of them would get, that kind of stuff. And it seems like that's kind of the route. And I don't think that's like a bad thing for them, unless they really thought they were going to be like this. Boom, we're hot, everything sells out. Let's drop something else, it sells out. I just don't think that's the game anymore. Like, I just don't think in general collecting is like at that point right now. And they have obviously issues and pricing and a lot of stuff that kind of factor in. But what are your thoughts? Because I know you were kind of on the other end. I know
Yeah.
you've kind of tilted back and forth between different things. And again, this is no like shot at them, because we still like them and support them regardless of what we're saying here. But what are your thoughts on that?
So I think their New York Comic Con debut, and I drank that Kool-Aid hard. I mean, it became a joke with some of our fans. They couldn't have done a better job there. But what I will say, and we've talked about this in the past, way too many products. The more and more I think about it, they had way too much at New York Comic Con. In reality, it would have been cool if they just came out with the blue, and maybe I had mentioned this to some other creators that I talked to, like, because the booth had like the Van Gogh picture op and it had the like Tony the Tiger, maybe they came out with just those three, and Brian had to get his Huckleberry Hound in there and like called it a day. There's just way too much way too quickly, especially once again, if you don't have one of these, I can contest like the quality, and Migs will say this too. The quality is there. They're super cool and unique, and they're worth the price if you want them, something like that in your collection. But I still think people are turned off by the price, even though we collect other types of figures, Mischief toys being one of them, where it's like, this isn't that expensive. There's some vinyl designer toys that are like really expensive. I still think people are, held up at that. And once again, the thing that made me not like, I mean, once again, I still love them, but that I got a little bit off the hype train. They had terrible publicity after that, with the starting off with that website crashing, and then people getting charged more shipping than other people got charged. I mean, I know in the beginning I wasn't too happy. I mean, I couldn't even use a credit card on their website, so they had my actual cash for a really long time, which was probably helping fulfill their orders, which I didn't think was super cool. And they kind of doubled down on, I thought they were kind of nasty to the fans when they're saying that they're a fan first company. But then Brian came, which he showed that he's a good leader. He came out, he talked about it and put everything to rest. And what he said, he fixed those problems, and he put his money where his mouth was. I got credits because they didn't fulfill my orders, which I was cool with. But now we get to the Christmas stuff. The fact that nothing has sold out, it just shows that, like you said, Migs, it's probably, we just don't live in that world anymore. If he dropped, in, like, for example, if he dropped like a 100 piece that wasn't a chase, just making that number up, those would probably sell out immediately. Like 3,000, that may not sound like a lot, but at the end of the day, it still is a lot when you're not like a huge company.
Yeah, of course.
Which I think some people like don't think that. They're like, oh, it's only limited to 3,000, but like that's still a decent amount.
Yeah. Till 3,000. Like it's
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what, like Mick said, we'll talk about this next week's episode. At least I know it'll be part of what I want to talk about, Thrilljoy in the new year. I just think they need to do something to sprucing up the company if they want to continue being part of the conversation, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, totally. It totally is. I mean, I think we're just at where it's going to be. It's a company that's cool. It's new. It's
Yep.
got someone that we know about. It's a collectible that some people are going to love. Some people don't care about it. It's just going to be what it is. It's not. It's never going to be this massive thing that everyone, is just all across the world going to be all about. I just don't think that's ever going to be what it is. I don't know if that's what they want it to be, anyways. I think if they're going to keep dealing with low piece counts, very niche things, specific stuff for like certain collectors, I don't think they can expect to be like this massive thing that everyone's going to love, because that just doesn't go together. That just doesn't make sense. So
No.
that's probably why they're okay with what they're doing. I think this holiday drop was, it was fine. I think this size was okay. Like this is
Yeah.
what they should have
That's what
done
they
for New
should
York
be
Comic
doing.
Con. Then there should have been the next drop. I'm totally okay with like 2 or maybe 3 max coming out on these like drops. That's totally okay. Like you said, it was just too much all at once for them to kind of, I guess they wanted to kind of play catch up in a way, but it just made it a little bit more overwhelming to some people. But as a company, like, it's going to be interesting what's going to happen. I mean, we didn't talk about this, but they did just actually today, they just dropped a new blog. And it is about the New Year's like blue.
Oh, that's
So
official now? I didn't see that.
yeah. So I'm looking at it now. So it's on the site. So this goes right into what you just said. This is a 96 piece. Look at that.
Wow. Okay.
So it's a 96 piece, blue. He's wearing the gold jumpsuit. It's like 2025 with fireworks. So it's obviously like to kind of introduce the new year. Their blog is still the same quirky thing, and like, how would the old end with the blue? Like they say blue like 100 times, like they clearly ran that joke into the ground. But basically, like, they're showing like this is a very super exclusive. It's only 96 pieces. It's obviously like a cool looking specific one, but again, like it's cool, but like you're gonna have one that says 2025 New Year's like next year. Like, is that gonna now just like not matter? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not as exciting. I think like it's a cool concept, and it's gold, and it looks cool for what it is, New Year's, whatever. But like we were talking about like not putting Christmas stuff up because it's not Christmas time. Like, what are you gonna do with this? Like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna put this up at all times. It just seems a little bit off. But it's just kind of the way they're gonna do it. But
it's funny you say that. I don't want to. Now that I know this is official, I'm reading the article. There should only be 96 pieces, though. They're doing 2025, which is cute.
Yeah, I was just reading that right now.
Maybe they should have done 25. I mean, Brian has said before he doesn't really care. Like, this is crazy that people would do this. That then makes it more exciting. I mean, this is going to sit at that amount of pieces.
Yeah. So the 96 is
The
a
super chase.
Yeah. So which means they're gonna have a regular one, a chase, and a super chase, because I think it says gold.
Yeah.
Exclusive, ultra exclusive chase edition in the gold jumpsuit. So it looks like it's kind of just gonna be a small variant or whatever, but they're gonna have a super chase option. So they're still not really doing that fully, where it's just a low piece count one at all. But yeah, 2025 of these. Like, some people will go after it because they're going to try to get that 196 piece, because everyone just wants that super limited piece. But if these other ones aren't selling out, and granted they're usually like 3,000 piece, whatever, I don't know if a 2,000 piece one specific to New Year's will be, but I can't like hate on them, like at least doing something. And they are trying to stay relevant. He said this, like, relevant with things that are happening now, or stuff that's in the news, even, whatever. Like, even in this blog, they joke about the freaking drones. I wouldn't be surprised if they come out with a damn drone megapix.
Wait, it's just so funny.
Not megapix, but pix.
How did you? I'm just curious. Talking live now, where did you see that this was official? They didn't post about it.
It's on their blog.
No, I know. Were you just randomly looking at their website?
Yeah. So
Okay, because
Oh yeah,
not
no,
even
no, no.
Diz
There's no
trackers or
no,
Funko
no, no, no.
finders have even picked this up.
Dude, this says December 22nd too. This
Okay,
literally could have just been
just
posted.
oh, got you.
Breaking
Okay.
news right now, guys. We're breaking news here in Collect Chatter. So what it was is I opened up as we were talking about Thursday. I opened it up
Okay.
to see like if anything showed sold out because we were talking about how like stuff hasn't been selling out.
This is exclusive
And
mix
then
right now.
yeah, and then I wanted to just check out the blog because we
Yeah.
love talking about the blog. And as I clicked it, it's funny because I just see that it's time, and I was like, oh great, that's not even new. And then right next to it, I noticed it was a new one, and it's out with the old and with the blue. So yeah,
I
breaking
feel
news.
terrible saying this.
This will definitely be on Diss Trackers in the next couple minutes.
Yes, it will. But we said it here first. Meg said it first.
Yeah, we said it here. This is 10 o'clock on Sunday the 22nd, even though this is going to post later.
Yes,
but we did say
we said it
first.
It's just crazy to me, though. I mean, I've said this before, and like, who am I to say this? It's not like I'm a professional at this, but their copy, their social, it just doesn't fit the brand either. I think that's another part of their problem. If I'm being completely upfront, like, if I was to see this, if I got served this and I didn't know anything about it, I would be extremely turned off. And I'm curious what other people think. Let me know in the comments. The blog, their Instagram, it just doesn't fit, I think, their brand or who they're looking to reach. And I was going to say, like, let me know in the comments if I'm absolutely insane with this. I think that's hurting them. Like, it's not great marketing, in my opinion. I even think this type of tone has hurt Funko as well. The difference between Funko and Thrilljoy, Funko is huge. They already have the people who would normally buy their stuff. So I'm okay with them doing off-color type marketing because they are trying to reach an audience who hasn't bought their products. Like their biddies, their pop themselves, like the Wicked Pops, for example. But Thrilljoy just shouldn't be doing that yet, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not trying to be negative. It's just, I don't know. It's not helping them. I think they should change it up a little bit. They don't need to get rid of what they're doing completely, but I think they should have a different type of, they should mix it up a little bit and see what the analytics tell them.
Yeah, I mean, they clearly think whatever they're doing is working and the way they run all their stuff.
Of course.
But I agree, it's a little, I don't know. Maybe that's just the kind of thing, that's what they're going for. Like, who knows? But we just kind of think it's a bit much. But, they're trying to be this fun, hip company that, is exciting and funny and whatever it is. But I don't know. I'm still a fan of it.
Of course.
I'm like now really like seeing that like this is going to be just something that's going to be certain people are going to really like this. I think even just still to this day, I think the setup of how they do these picks and what they specifically are very, very specific to like a certain type of collector. Like there's certain people that are going to see this because it's in a piece and everything, like automatically wouldn't want to get it anyways, no matter what it is. And I think it's just because of what people like to collect. And yeah, it has a figure in it, but it is different. And he was going for that route, so totally.
Yeah, which I appreciate. And like we've said too, like, I mean, I have a few now, and I did just buy 2 of the Christmas ones, but I only bought I bought 2 of A Year Without Santa Claus just because my wife, that is her favorite movie. Like, I love Rudolph, but not enough that I needed these huge picks, for example. Same with Elf. And like, even with, I love Harry Potter, but I didn't buy a Harry Potter one. Like, I also think that is still going to be their problem. There's people who even love these fandoms that aren't buying them, but that not think twice about buying a Funko, for example.
Yeah. They really got to establish themselves a little more before that really started happening. But I did want to shout them out for now being officially shipping to Canada. So now Canada's in the books. If you want to get from Thrilljoy, you can get it directly. Hopefully they open it up to other, because I know there are fans in Australia and Europe and everything. Of course. So hopefully those things, some of our fans specifically, they can't get it. So, or they got to pay crazy prices to other people to send it to them. I'm sure because that's like the only way. But another holiday thing, we want to transition over to Funko. So let's talk about Funko, but this is specifically NFTs. So one thing was obviously we had the Christmas drop that was back on the 17th. It was like what, last week? So not too long ago, but it officially came out. We had the Festival of
Festival of
Fun,
Fun.
as well as Festival of Fun NFT set. I don't think we officially came on since we spoke about this,
We
but
haven't.
Charlie did call that it was going to be a train set.
Yeah.
This is way before when we were like, what can it be? What will it be? Whatever. And you definitely said it was going to be a train set, and that's literally what it is. We didn't know they were going to come out with the, what's the name of the mega?
The Mythic Pack.
Mythic Pack. And then they were going to have like a 10-inch, because
Which-
that's usually what they do.
Which is just so random because it doesn't fit the theme.
No, well, it's Nutcracker,
it's
but it's not a
Christmas.
train.
That's what I mean. Like
it's not a
everything else
train,
goes
which
together.
is huge, so it makes sense that it wouldn't. But
Yeah.
it's weird that they even had the Mythic Pack. It's interesting, like what they choose to have these Mythic Packs sets with, and what ones they don't have. But overall, a lot of this stuff burned. Didn't sell as much. It was a pretty big set. I think it was too big. I think they need to stop with these 30, 40,000.
Agreed.
Like, they just don't make sense. This is a much more niche.
The Mythic sold out in seconds, though.
Yeah, Mythics always do, and it's insane. It's the highest price one, but you're obviously guaranteed something no matter what. And then you're gonna get like 30 cards. So you're clearly getting a lot for your money. But even with that being said, that even the Mythic right now, like, it's not selling for super high.
No.
It's lower than a lot of other ones.
Yeah.
The Grail's lower than a lot of other ones. And then the individual legendaries and stuff are super cheap. So, like, it kind of...
I'm shocked.
So I was just going to say, kind of... Because it's all starting to kind of seem like it's a trend. But, like, holiday collectibles just do not seem to be a thing, like, popular. Like, I think what's tough is that, like, I'm a big fan of Christmas. I would say, is like a super fan of Christmas, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I think it's hard for us to.
I'm even wearing a Mischief Toys Christmas sweatshirt.
Yeah, but I think it's like tougher for us to like realize that not everyone is, or not everyone like goes after all these things, and maybe that's why it's a little more surprising. But it seems like that's happening now. I think it's a lot of factors. Some NFT drops that aren't holiday related are definitely not selling out, and it's probably just because NFTs in general are not as popular anymore. The Funko side of things not as popular anymore. People just aren't buying stuff as much anymore. Like, that's all kind of putting it in together. Yeah. But the holiday aspect of it, you would think like, oh, this is a cool thing. And I think it's also because like you're buying it now, you're not going to get it until like next summer. Like, it just kind of does seem off if you're like really excited for the holiday. But yeah, it didn't sell out. I don't know. Were you, like you said, you were surprised by that?
I'm shocked that they didn't sell out.
Though.
Just because yes, but like, the Freddy ones have always sold out. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure this is the first Funko IP one that has not fully sold out. Could be wrong. Let me know. I think it's the first one.
Let me see.
But even though I like to give myself the kudos for calling the train, that does not help it, I think, because some people don't want to not have that complete set, and they know it could be hard, and they're going to be like, oh, I'm just not going to go for it then, especially if you're an out-of-box collector. It just looks strange. Like, even, like, I have the Disney 100 train, and, like, that needs to be out of the box. Like, it's just silly not.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that helped this drop. But, I mean, I guess you're right. There's a trend. This, Mischief Toys, Thrilljoy. I always say to myself, though, and we don't fall into this category, especially you, Migs, because we like both love Halloween. But in my opinion, Halloween is not even at the same level of Christmas. But are the Halloween collectibles just easily passed off as like horror collectibles that people have all the time?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think about that, like, the people go crazy over the Halloween ones, and like I feel like Halloween, especially when you're an adult, is a pretty niche holiday, as crazy as that may sound. I feel like you either love Halloween or you hate Halloween. Most people like Christmas if you celebrate it. Like, don't you agree?
Yeah, but I've it's just weird, but I feel like whether it's been in person or movies or shows or people that I know, I feel like I've been hearing more people that aren't as big of fans of Christmas than I ever have in the past. Like, I feel like that's like a newer thing. I don't want to say it's like
Interesting.
I don't want to say it's like a thing, but I had never, yeah, like I would, as a kid or growing up or in college, like I would never think that people just weren't big fans of Christmas. But I don't know if why, but I feel like that's kind of, I don't know, it's odd. But I do agree with what you're saying though, in the sense of like overall, that's obviously if again if you celebrate it, because not everyone celebrates it,
Exactly.
it's still something that's more popular. But when it comes to like Halloween, like yeah, it's Halloween. I think Halloween has gotten bigger because it's now tied to just being a fall thing.
Yep.
Like it could stretch out for over a month even, versus Christmas usually is like after Thanksgiving, maybe some people wait even longer. And then obviously you have December and then that's it. Christmas is gone. But I do agree where most, like, I can put up a Halloween Funko Pop or Halloween collectible all year round, and it wouldn't really be. It'd be more like you said, I'm a horror fan, or I'm into
Exactly.
like something with a scary movie. Versus if you put up like a Christmas,
Yeah, it's
elf
weird.
pop like you have back here all year round, it's a bit odd. It's like it's the same thing with like
Yes.
a Christmas tree. If you have a Christmas tree up all year round, it's gonna be a little odd, like people probably do it, but
No,
I
I agree
completely
with you.
agree. It is a bigger, like, has to be in the moment type of thing. And that's kind of what I was saying even beforehand, where like some of these things you can't have them all the time. I mean, the Thrilljoy ones, like you're only going to put them really up during holidays, and then that's kind of it. So I think that does kind of limit to like what people maybe are buying, and maybe people usually think more of decorations. They don't see a lot of these things more as a decorative piece
Yeah.
versus like when you go to Home Goods and buy all this Christmas stuff, and you're okay with buying a bunch of that stuff because you're going to decorate the house. But you don't always think of, like we kind of do, but you don't always think of taking like these collectibles and stuff, and that can also be a decorative piece. So like that probably has something to do with it. But I was looking, I wanted to say real quick. So this is the second, because the Fantastic Plastic didn't sell out.
Okay. Yeah.
But that's it. Every other like Funko specific, related, holiday, whatever it is, has sold out. So, and yeah, and Fantastic Plastic's very niche, so that kind of makes
It is.
sense.
I'm not surprised by that one. Honestly, I completely forgot
Mm-hmm.
about that one. But the one thing that is interesting though, it also goes to the NFTs are just not what they used to be. Even though the last Halloween set sold out, it was the weakest one. I mean, I think we can all
Yeah,
admit that,
I
but
didn't
like
even like it. Yeah, I
they're
love the other ones.
very affordable to buy on the aftermarket.
Mm-hmm.
The year before those zombie ones, I mean, those were some
Yeah.
peak NFT prices for even
Mm-hmm.
legendaries. Like, I don't think we've seen legendaries that expensive since then.
No, the Legendary was more than the Grail.
Yeah.
Some of them.
So, yeah, it's interesting. I've been wanting that drop for so long. It excited me, but now it's just like, probably ain't gonna do it again.
Yeah, I know. It just seems like NFTs in general are kind of, slowly, they're out there. We still like them. I
There's too
haven't
many.
like, yeah, the thing is, I haven't actually like bought a pack of cards in, I'm looking back right now. I think Universal Monsters was the last one I bought packs of cards. I've gotten
Yeah.
stuff on the aftermarket afterwards on the drop marketplace and stuff, but I mean that's Rick and Morty, so that's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 drops that I haven't purchased in a
Okay.
row. Which Funkoween, did I buy Funkoween
You
packs?
got Funkoween, I think.
I don't know if I did though.
See, I did get Funkoween, but then
Like even Stranger Things,
yeah, the before
I don't think I
Funkoween,
got that one either.
the last one I bought was Turtles, which I know wasn't that many drops before, but like there's been a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it
Back
was
in the day, we'd buy
5
every
drops
drop,
before, so yeah.
just like not buying them.
But then even after Funkoween, we had Stranger Things. No, not
Yep.
Stranger Things. We had Beetlejuice. We had the Batman 85th again, and then which even that one I didn't get
Nope.
packs for, which
Me
is
either.
surprising. Always Sunny, and then obviously Festival of Fun. Um, yeah, it's kind of crazy. And then speaking of Funko, well, Funko. Speaking of drop, They did have a new migration thing, which I know we didn't talk about before, but their wallet and like the system and everything, all that kind of stuff, you had to like migrate it over to a new like blockchain, whatever it
Yeah.
is. So that's a new thing. I think. Can you use card now? Is that one of the things?
No.
'Cause I feel like there was some changes. So it's still the same thing.
No, it's just it. I think it's more secure. Not
Okay.
that it wasn't before. It just seems like even now you have like a generated wallet name that I don't think we had before. It's not just that one that is your like account name that you can make personalized, or they kind of gave you one.
Uh-huh.
It was mostly behind the scenes type stuff. Even though one thing that's interesting, because I weirdly was buying NFTs on drop this morning. I wanted, speaking of Funkoween, I wanted to finish that set because I wanted the royalty. Now, when you buy stuff, you don't get it immediately. Like there's a waiting period, but it'll show in your account that you bought it, but it doesn't take from it immediately. Which I found interesting.
Yeah, I haven't even tried yet. That makes sense. That's weird. But do you know that you did? Because I feel like you would.
You
Think
then
you
get
didn't. You
confirmation that you
didn't
did,
think
but
you
I
got
actually
it,
bought one, a common, and then it was like it didn't go like
and you
a
did it
few hours
again.
later. It's like it didn't go through, which was so weird. And I don't know if it was because
Oh,
it's
it
the
said it
first.
didn't go through after.
Yeah, and I didn't get it. And I don't know if it was because it was the first thing I tried to purchase since the migration. Because then I went through and finished everything I needed, and it worked fine. But it still says like there's a period that will show. It'll show up in your wallet as if you did get it, but if it doesn't go through, you won't buy it. Which kind of was like Atomic Cub was a
Yeah,
little bit more
I
like
was
that.
just gonna say that reminds me of the Tower Cup though, where sometimes you would have the freaking. You didn't have
Yes.
enough RAM, and it
It's
was
not
like,
like that, but I
that was
just
so
found it
annoying.
interesting that it seems a little more secure, I guess.
Yeah. I
But
mean, it is what it is. It's something new. If you haven't done it, obviously you have to because you can't purchase anything now. I guess until you make sure you actually migrate it over. But I at the time I changed my name, saying
yeah.
I might as well do the whole name change in this process. But um, yeah, I mean that's something new. It is what it is. I don't get a lot of that back end stuff when it comes to these these NFT blockchains and all this stuff. It's always been confusing to me, and it started because of Atomic Hub because the process of that
Yeah.
was so wild. And the only thing that was good is like, yeah, you could use your card to directly make a
But
purchase
then
and
that
like,
stopped working.
but yeah, exactly. And but that was like what made it good for a little while because it was like you could do that, but the whole like you could only purchase a certain amount of things. You couldn't even sell only a certain amount of things.
Yeah.
And then once you did 2 or 3 or 4, it said you didn't have RAM
I
to do,
haven't
and it
used
was
Atomic Hub in
so weird.
forever.
I stopped because I didn't think it existed anymore because once this one started, I was like, I don't need that
No.
because remember for a while they weren't even putting stuff on there. I feel
Yeah.
like it goes, you couldn't even do anything.
No.
So yeah, but that was good old days. I feel like that was still within this year actually, but
I think it was.
it just seems like it was so long ago. But yeah, that's the drop news. There was a pop I wanted to talk about because I know you were really excited about this. I don't know if necessarily the pop itself, but just kind of because this is something you've
Yep.
hinted towards that like Funko should be doing, and it was a cool way that they did it. So they did announce the Astrobot pop that was announced, which that game won Game of the Year. Once it was announced that they won, Funko then released like a special, like they do with the sports sometimes, right? They do that with the championship and whatever. And we thought this was like a perfect way to do this. Like this is something they should be doing. We've been saying this for sports stuff and for like championships and MVPs or whatever it may be. If something wins, like come out with a pop and have it be a pre-order, which is what they did. This thing sold out pretty fast. Obviously, it was a popular game because it was Game of the Year. But I feel like it also fits the collecting world, gaming, and that kind of stuff. So it kind of, it was a bet more than sports sometimes when it comes to pops. But yeah, I know you want to give your thoughts because it's something obviously
I loved
you
it.
like.
Like you said, I mean, we've been saying this. I've been saying this forever. Funko needs to be doing more stuff about this. People were talking about this Funko Pop. It had some hype around it. They really need to just be taking advantage of this more. Like, I would double down, and they should start doing this for all award shows. See how it works. Whoever, wins Artist of the Year, I'll just say, or Record of the Year,
Yeah.
make a Funko Pop for that. Whatever wins Best Picture of the Year or Actor, like make Funko Pops if they don't already exist for that. It doesn't just need to be sports. Let's just dip into everything. And like, I think it's a great way of Funko to see how it does because they're using this pre-order method.
Hmm.
It's funny that Astrobot actually, if they have extended the pre-order, and I'm not sure if that means it wasn't doing well or it was doing super well and they wanted to extend it more. It's now until like first week of January.
Oh wow.
But once again, I still think this is brilliant. They just recently did this actually for the Domingo Funko Pop from SNL. That was another pre-order. I feel like it's somewhat of the way of the future for Funko for certain things. And I'm all about it because it allows people to get what they want. It doesn't have excess inventory. And then in a weird way, even though it's not like a limited drop piece, it ultimately will become that because once that pre-order is closed, they're not making it anymore.
Yeah.
You can't be like, oh, I didn't want that pop at this point in time, and now I want to go get it later. You'll only be able to get it on the aftermarket.
Yeah.
So
So it's definitely a cool way of doing things, whether it's like you said, something just one and then you create the pop right after. It's perfect. It was cool that even the box says like 2024 game of the year. So like it shows like what it is that you're like celebrating this being. It's just kind of crazy because like it was one of those fake sellouts, I guess, because they literally went out of stock and then
it did.
right after it
Yep.
was like, oh, it's back up again. And it's like, I don't know if
I
it's
know
just
that I
what
don't
they were
like that they do.
doing, but yeah, now it's back up obviously again. So yeah, more so just the way they did this, I think is cool. The whole pre-order idea is great. It's just crazy to think that like they don't. This wasn't a thing that they always did. Like I know the
Agreed.
Jason Kelsey thing was obviously a big deal, and that was the first one that like
They ever
kind
did,
of
really.
ran with this, and they've only done a few since. But it's crazy that Funko never had a pre-order system. Like it was always just buy it and it'll sell out, and that was always cool and exciting. But now that things get restocked and now that things sit around, like it just seems like
I don't need to
that's
deal with
when it
that.
just went away. Yeah. So, but I did want to bring that up because it's interesting to see kind of is that where they're going to go with bigger pops and stuff. But I guess we'll see going forward if they'll continue to do this. I don't know if there's anything else, anything big you want to talk about.
There's just one random thing because speaking of sports Funko Pops, I still like the Funko sprinkles this in a little bit, even though it's the Phillies, even though it's weird. The Phillies have had a few Funko collabs, but they already announced a giveaway for August 30th game. You're going to get a Bryce Harper Funko Pop. That's an exclusive one for that game. It's a new, he's wearing a different uniform that hasn't been made before.
Mm-hmm.
I love that Funko's doing this. I've said this before, I'll say it again. They should do it more. I actually think they did a Bryce Harper Gold. I'm not sure if that ever saw the light of day. It was supposed to be a giveaway at one of the games, but I think they should be trying to make a deal with the MLB to be doing this.
Everyone should be doing it, yeah.
Because like I mean, you go to football games, you go to like hockey games. I mean, I go to a lot of sports games, and like all of them have some sort of promotional nights, but like there's something about baseball. Like I feel like it's just like ingrained in its DNA.
Yeah, bobbleheads are always a
Exactly.
thing.
They should be doing it more
shirts,
and
whatever.
more.
But I agree. It is interesting. Like, I mean, it's August 30th of next year,
Yeah.
and it's already being announced, which is kind of crazy. Obviously, the schedules are probably starting to come out, and they're figuring out what they're going to give out in general. It's not just a Funko thing. Like, they're probably just looking at their giveaways. But once someone got word that a Funko Pop is going to be involved, obviously it hits the
Yes.
Instagram world of Funko. But I agree. I think it's cool. I think this is something they should continue to do. I think, like you said, every team should be doing this. Only select few have. I'm sure it's like, an agreement, licensing, and all that kind of stuff. But they 100% should be doing this because this is where you get something special. It should be numbered. I would assume it probably is because it's only given out to a certain amount of people. They should have like a special sticker. Something should make it like more special. It shouldn't just be that they're giving out a common pop. that I think would kind of ruin it. I think it should be more like special. And like, if you're a fan of that team, hopefully you live in that city. Not all of us are fans of the teams in our city, but if you can, you most likely will be the one that goes there and can get it. Granted, although this one is only given to children under 14, that's what they say, which is kind of weird.
I agree. It's going to cause some problems.
Which is going to be a lot of 14-year-old children with beards running up to try to get one of these, I'm sure.
It's just funny because I'll tell you, one of my most prized Funko pieces is actually the David Wright Captain America collab that they gave out at City Field, which weirdly you have too.
Which I have.
Yeah, and that was not because I also have a Handmade by a Robot, Mr. Matt.
Yeah.
Telling you how this works, I picked that game on purpose because I wanted that giveaway. So it's kind of interesting. Like, they want people to know.
Were they always like kids though? Like, was it always a thing?
That's what I'm to say.
I'm trying to think.
No, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't kids only.
Okay.
Because if it was kids only,
because I know the kids only thing is a thing. Because
it is. I actually went to
when they give away shirts or whatever, and it's like to the first many kids.
Because it caused actually totally random story, but I went to a Yankee game with work, and it was Rubble and Crew Day.
Mm-hmm.
They did an activation because Aaron Judge was in an episode. Yada yada yada. They were giving out hats, and they would only give them out to like kids 12 and under. And they were hardcore strict about it.
Yeah.
Wow. Like, it was, I actually was a little like, whoa, this is kind of a joke. Like, some people on my team really wanted one, and they were like, yeah, no, show me the kid. I honestly didn't care. And everyone was kind of funny because I was like, you don't want to get one for your son? I'm like, he ain't wearing a Yankee hat. But it just was funny. So I don't know if that's like a newer thing, but I think that's kind of just silly.
Yeah. I mean,
especially
I get the like, oh yeah, for a kid you do whatever, but I guess if it's like a small size hat or shirt, it's not as crazy.
But
or
like to
play back.
The Funko is what I'm saying.
Funko Pop is, yeah. I mean, then again, they probably look at it like, oh, this is a toy. It should be only for kids. But
yeah, which I feel. Do you feel like Philly, like the organization makes that call? I don't think Funko's telling them that.
Yeah, probably, because
it's the first.
No matter what, even when it's not Funko, they still have sometimes limitations to the ages at times, depending on what they're giving out.
But I think this is the first Funko giveaway that this has been called out. It's for kids only.
Yeah, Funko wise, I think it is. That's why I think that I wanted to bring it up, because it was like,
no, I'm happy you brought that up.
Gonna go, and we know that some crazy fans out there go crazy for these other ones that have dropped. So I could just imagine.
Oh, if I was a Phillies fan,
if you got to think about a crowd, Philadelphia is probably not the one you would want to think is going to be happy with that.
There's going to be people. There's going to be kids getting that stolen from at that game, and I'm not joking.
Probably, yeah. It's wild. It's wild in New York, so I can imagine in Philly. But yeah, that was a good one that you brought up. There was obviously, we're big sports fans and big fans of when Funko does anything sports related, and this is right up our alley because we always talk about that they should be doing this really going forward. But I think that's going to be the majority of everything. Of course, there'll probably be some more stuff that we'll talk about next week. We do want to try to probably do more of like we said, maybe like a year, how the year went, things that we liked, didn't like, whatever, maybe what's coming in 2025 or what we want to be coming in 2025. But we'll get into that. And, hopefully we'll probably get Trey back on at that point. We just had to run duo again with just us, get an episode out there for you guys. It's been a while, so we want to make sure we don't want to cancel again. Still get something for you guys. And yeah, so that's going to pretty much be it. I know in the beginning I said happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you guys celebrate. Hope everyone is having a great end of the year. We will talk again, like I said, and before the end of the year, hopefully, so we could talk about a little recap. We like doing that usually every year. But that's going to be it. Charlie, you can kind of let everybody know the socials and everything. And appreciate you guys. Again, if you guys haven't already liked this video, and hopefully you are already subscribed. If not, click the button and subscribe. Join our little Collector Chatter crew here. And
yeah, so obviously subscribe, because it doesn't look like we're meeting that goal of 1,000, which is a little upsetting, but hey, we'll get there. But as always, you can follow us at Collector Chatter on Instagram. Follow me at collector_Charlie, at pop_Migs, and also Trey is at STX_collectibles. Obviously, if you're here on YouTube, like you said, make sure you hit that like button, throw us some comments. We obviously love chatting with everyone through the comment section. And then also on the podcast platforms, make sure you're following us over there. Spotify, if you're listening there, you can interact with us on there as well. They now have features there where you can comment on every episode, which is super cool. And we'll totally
Nice.
respond to you out there. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts and other podcast platforms, we really appreciate it. But come on over to YouTube because that's where you get to see all the pretty visuals. But yeah, let us know what you're thinking. Are you a fan of the holiday drops? Did you get anything for your collection? And, what is did anyone ask for any certain collectibles for the holiday season? We'd like to know about that in the comments as well. But with that being said, happy holidays. We hope everyone has a very Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, or anything that you celebrate. And we will definitely be back for the end of the year so we can, let everyone know what we thought. All right. Once again, collecting is the way. Till next time, later.
Peace out, everybody.